Yes, hello everybody, it's German here. Hello everybody, it's German here, and today I booked two classes with my institute, online institute about practice my IELTS speaking. So before the class started, it's at 10:30, so I still have like some time. So yes, so I want to practice by myself first, maybe just 15 minutes. Okay, so do you live in a house or apartment? Okay, I was actually, I was living in an apartment and I rent I rented this apartment from 4 years ago. It's oh my gosh, just simple as just okay, just simple as just I was living in an apartment. Let's say it, right? So let's see how the professional answers what it is.
Or
of the people
My gosh.
in our
Okay, I live in an apartment
country
now, and
live
I think most
in
of
an
the people in
apartment
our country
because more
living in an apartment
and more
because
apartments
more and more
are
apartments
being constructed
are being
in
constructed
our country
in our country every
every
day.
day.
Everything okay. Okay, actually I was living in an apartment and mostly like in my country, people they are living in apartments because in my country the house is pretty expensive. Most majorities we cannot buy a house. So probably like currently my generation, like young generation, we probably most of us we just rent an apartment because the apartment is not very expensive. Are there any okay, let's see.
in an apartment?
Every day.
Okay, let's see.
Are there any advantages to living in an apartment?
Are there any advantages to living in an apartment? Are there any advantages to living in an apartment? I think the advantages to living in an apartment is you know is the first is the price not too expensive. You know, if just compared to rent a house, the apartment it probably will the price will be lower. The second is about you know you probably can see, you know like you're gonna probably gonna need make some new friends during around your apartment. Second and thirdly is about the apartment. You know, uh, my gosh, I don't know. Just living in an apartment. What's the advantage to living in an apartment? Could you tell me? I don't know. Let's see.
I think most
Okay. Just okay. I think most people
people in
in
our
our
country
country.
prefer
I think most people in
to
our
live
okay. So I think most people in
in
our
an
country prefer
apartment.
to live in an apartment.
First, it
First,
offers
it offers a
much
much
better
better
home
home
security.
security. Yeah, home security.
When living in an
When living in an
apartment,
apartment,
you are protected
you're
by
protected
security
by security
guards
guard
24
24
hours a
hours a
day,
day.
and they
And
regularly
and they
go
regularly
around to
go
check
around
if
to
there
check
is any
if there's any
danger in the
danger, you know,
apartment complex.
in apartment complex.
Second, we
Second,
don't have to be
second,
overly
we
because maintenance workers are always on
second
duty
second we don't have to be overly concerned about any broken or damaged facilities because the maintenance
and
workers
they
are
can
always
fix them
on
all.
duty and they can fix it all. Oh yeah, that's correct. Okay, so we just see the answer, I mean the proper answer, and we can just okay. So I just follow their instruction and try to refine my answer as well. Okay, so I think you know the first is you know to be there's a several your lesson will be started. Okay, so let's what's the let me check it out. Oh, just okay.
Advantages to living in an apartment?
Are there any advantages to living in an apartment? Yeah, the first is about living in an apartment. You know, you don't need to concern about the security because in an apartment there's 24 hours. The security guard will check. You know, will see, will help protect the apartment. And the second is about the you know in my country most of my people they live in an apartment and you can make it. I think you probably can have a chance to make some new friends. The third is about the apartment, compare apartment, rent apartment or rent a house. You know, the apartment's price will be lower than the house. So I think the budget will be much great. You know, you don't need to expect to expect too much budget. Okay, so let's. Okay, let me. Okay, I think most people in our country prefer to live in an apartment. First, it offers
First,
much
it
better home
offers much better
security.
home security.
When living
When living in
when living in apartment
an apartment,
when living in an apartment
you are protected by
you're protected by
security
guard
guards 24
hours
hours a day,
day,
and they regularly go
regularly go
around to
around to
check
check
if there
there
is
is
any
any
danger in the
danger
apartment
in an apartment
complex.
complex.
Second, we don't
Second,
have to be overly
we don't have to be overly
concerned about any broken or damaged
damaged
facilities
facilities
because
because
maintenance
maintenance
workers are always on
are always
duty
on duty,
and they can fix them all.
and they can fix them all.
What kind of
What kind of
things do you normally buy for your
for your
house?
house? Okay.
I often buy decorations to make my room more special.
Decoration. Okay, DECO. Decoration. Oh, that's derivations. Yeah, we just learned derivations. Okay, that is the derivations that make my room more special.
I also regularly purchase some aroma candles because they make me feel so relaxed. Sometimes I light them after cooking some food in the kitchen to remove the food smell.
Why is it important to choose a good place to live?
Why is it choose? Okay, for me, there's several. Why is it important to choose a good place to live? For me, there's several reasons. The first is about like if like example is about oh my gosh, it's about what and the good place really the first is about the happiness. Why I say happiness is about the good place will make the people feels really have like energy, feels happy, feel they will be like they feel joy. In my situation, like if I live in a good place, I have full enthusiastic to learn things, to start stuff, to start things. And secondly, it's about the good place like the good place reserves like the environments, the fresh air and oh wow! I tried. I'm so sad. Let's go. Let's see.
Homes are very important,
Homes are very important,
and they should provide
and then they should provide
people with comfort and safety. After people finish their work or studies, they need a place to rest. This is why a good home is important.
This is why a good home is important.
If someone is very sensitive
if someone is very sensitive
to sounds and lights, they should find a place in a suburban
a place in a suburban area. Suburban area. They should
also consider getting
they should also consider
a house rather than an apartment. Because people living in apartments always complain about noise coming from their neighbors.
Because people living in apartments always complain about the noise coming from their neighbors. Okay, part two is describe the house you currently live in. You should say who. You should say okay. You should say who you're living with and when you start living there and why you moved in and explain what kind of what you dislike it or dislike it about the house. Okay. So currently, I was living in a house at the 30th floor at the 30th floors, and I rented by last year. I from she's my colleague and why and currently living in my house. And now currently I'm living alone. I rented this house. Okay, so maybe it's okay. So let me. Currently, I was living with just alone. There's no one was living with me together, and I rented this house for last year. I rented this house about last year with from a colleague, and when I started to living, and why I moved in here because the last apartment is kind of tiny and small, and they don't have a good place for they don't have good environment. They don't have good place for rest, especially like the sun is especially instruction is very weird. It feels in a way whenever I enter at home, I just feels like I enter to the person. So and that's why I moved into this house. And what I liked this place mostly is about the view in the at the 30th floor, so you can see, and because the apartment is near of the ocean, and at the 30th floor, so I really do I really can watch a lot of beautiful views, and it just the views is pretty beautiful. And on the other hand, it's about the apartments. The instruction is not very great, but it's still better than the last one. Okay, let's see how they answer. Okay, so
Let me tell you about the house
let me tell you about the
I
house
currently
I
live in.
currently live in. Let me tell you about the house I currently living.
I live with my family.
I live with my family,
My father,
mother,
mother, and my elder
and my
sister.
older sister.
About 10
about
years
10 years
ago,
ago,
my father
my
was
father was
transferred to a new
transferred.
branch,
My father transferred to a
far
new
from the
branch, far
previous
from a
one.
previous
At
one.
that time,
So that
none
time,
of my family
none of my family
members
members
wanted to
wanted
leave
to
the
leave the
city,
city,
even though my
even though my
father had
father
been
had been
promoted
promoted
to the position
to the
of
position of
marketing
marketing
director.
director.
But there was
But
nothing
there was nothing
we could do.
but there's nothing we could do. But there's nothing we could do. But there's nothing we
So,
could do. So
we had to rent an
we had to rent
apartment
an
there
apartment
and
there
have lived since
and have lived
then.
since then.
We all had
We all had
difficulties
difficulties
adapting to
adapting
a
to
new
a new
environment
environment
at
at
first.
first.
But we
But
soon
we
got
soon
used to
got
living
used to
there
living there
because there's nearby
nearby,
like cinemas,
because
shopping
there are a lot of
malls,
cinemas,
and
shopping
fitness
malls,
clubs.
and fitness clubs.
The
The
apartment we are now
apartments we
living
are
in
now
gives
living
a
it
stunning
gives a
view
stunning view
because it is
because
located
it is
on the
located
21st
on the 21st floor.
floor.
21st, okay, located because it is located. Okay, so I can say my apartment it was located on the 30th floor. 30. It was a brand new apartment when we first when we first
It was a brand new
it was brand new. It was brand new. It was brand new
apartment when we first
apartment
moved in.
when we first.
So it's still in
So it's
great
it's still in great
condition,
condition. So it's still in great
even though it is a
even
bit
though
smaller
even though it is
than
a
our
bit
previous
smaller than
one.
our previous one.
The only thing
The
I
only thing I
dislike about
dislike
the
about the
apartment
apartment
is the
is
elevators.
the elevators.
There are only two
There are only two
elevators,
elevators, and
and they are
they're
often out of order.
out of order.
Sometimes
Sometimes I
I
have
have
to
to
use
use
the
the stairs
stairs
to
to
reach
reach my
my
house.
house. I could use this as a workout,
I could use this as a workout,
but it makes me really exhausted.
but it makes me really exhausted.
Why do you think
Why do you think
people wish to hold on to
wish to hold
their
on to their
memories?
memories? I think
I
people
think
want to
people want to keep their good
memories
memories so that they can recall
so they can recall
pleasant events
pleasant
and
events
experiences in their lives, which
experiences in their life,
makes them feel
which makes them feel
happy.
happy.
When I feel sad or depressed, I always try to
When I feel sad or depressed, feel sad or depressed, I always oh my gosh.
remember good and pleasing
I always try to remember good and pleasant
memories,
memories,
and they can refresh me
they can refresh me
and give me energy to get over the bad feeling.
and to They can refresh me, and give me energy to get over the bad feelings.
How do you normally
How do you normally
revisit your happy memories?
Just